My phone exploded at 2:47 a.m. Tuesday night, with the kind of alerts that make your stomach drop, and your retirement plans flash before your eyes. Emergency notifications lighting up like a slot machine hitting jackpot. Except, this jackpot meant our entire infrastructure was dying a very expensive death. I'm Gary Sullivan, 48 years old, and for the past 16 years, I'd been the guy they called when everything went to hell at TechFlow Solutions. Former Navy IT specialist, back when networks meant life or death for sailors halfway around the world. These days, the stakes were different, but the pressure felt exactly the same. The monitoring dashboard on my phone looked like a medical emergency. Database cluster CPU usage at 98%, memory completely exhausted, transaction queue backing up faster than I could count. Our main client, a logistics company handling half the shipping for the Southeast, was dead in the water. Every minute this stayed down meant thousands of delayed packages and some very angry phone calls to corporate headquarters. You know what they say about server rooms at 3 a.m. They smell like desperation, burnt coffee, and the kind of panic that makes grown men question their career choices. Ours had all three that night, plus the familiar hum of cooling fans working overtime to keep everything from melting down. I threw on jeans and a t-shirt, grabbed my keys, and headed for the door. The drive to our Atlanta office took 15 minutes through empty streets. I made the trip in my 1987 Camaro Z28. Rebuilt the engine myself over 3 weekends with my son, Danny, helping me pull the block. Windows down, thinking about Navy days when a system failure meant supply ships didn't reach destroyers or communication went dark during critical exercises. TechFlow Solutions looked like every other corporate building in Midtown, all glass and steel trying to look important. But the 12th floor was where the real work happened. Badge in, elevator up, security code for the server room. This had been my domain for 16 years, and I knew every cable, every switch, every server like they were old friends. The monitoring dashboard looked like a cardiac arrest in progress. I pulled up the system logs and started digging through error messages, scrolling past like machine gun fire. HTTP 503 errors, TCP timeout failures, deadlock transactions throwing PostgreSQL error codes I'd memorized back when that database was still the new kid on the block. Buried in all that digital noise was a pattern, a memory leak in some optimization code that nobody had bothered to stress test before deployment. The kind of rookie mistake you make when you hire kids straight out of college who think Stack Overflow is a substitute for 16 years of real-world experience. The fix took 4 hours of careful work. First, I had to isolate the problematic process without bringing down the entire Kubernetes cluster. That meant carefully routing traffic through backup systems while I patched the primary servers. Then came the database cleanup, purging corrupted transactions, rebuilding indexes, verifying data integrity through every monitoring protocol I'd learned in the Navy. Navy training kicks in during times like this. Methodical, systematic, double-check everything twice. No shortcuts, no guessing, no hoping it'll work itself out. Libs depended on getting it right the first time back then, and millions of dollars depended on it now. By 6:15 a.m., all systems were green. Transaction queue cleared, response times back to normal, monitoring alerts finally silent. I documented everything in the incident report like always. Root cause analysis, resolution steps, recommendations for preventing future occurrences. Standard operating procedure, even though I knew nobody in management would actually read it. Walt Thompson, the overnight security guard, stopped by with coffee around 6:30. Walt was an old-timer like me, understood what it meant to take pride in your work and do it right the first time. Another all-nighter, Gary? Just keeping the lights on, Walt. Company's lucky to have you. Most places, something like this would take their whole IT team a week to figure out. Walt was right, but I didn't say anything. In the Navy, you did your job and moved on to the next mission. Same principle applied here, even when management treated your expertise like an expensive inconvenience. I grabbed a shower in the executive bathroom, one of the few perks of being essential personnel, and changed into the spare clothes I kept in my desk drawer. By 8:45 a.m., I was at my workstation reviewing system performance metrics to make sure everything was stable when Justin Thornfield made his grand entrance. Justin was 29 years old, had an MBA from Harvard that he mentioned in every conversation, and had been our chief digital officer for exactly 7 months. He also happened to be CEO Richard Thornfield's nephew, though the family resemblance was mostly limited to the same smug expression and the unshakable belief that confidence could substitute for actual competence. He strolled into the office at 9 a.m. sharp with his usual Starbucks venti something or other, and that practice smirk that made you want to check your 401k balance just to feel better about something. Most of the day shift was just arriving, and the overnight crew had already headed home, leaving just me sitting at my desk looking at him like he'd grown a second head. "Great work handling that little hiccup this morning, team," Justin announced to the mostly empty office. "Little hiccup?" I stared at him over my coffee mug, wondering if he had any idea what a little hiccup that cost millions in potential losses actually looked like at 3 a.m. "Crisis management is all about staying calm and delegating effectively," he continued, adjusting his tie like he was posing for a LinkedIn professional photo. "That's exactly the kind of proactive leadership we need around here." I wanted to ask him what exactly he'd delegated from his bed at 3 a.m. while I was elbow deep in failed database transactions. But I kept my mouth shut. This was the same guy who'd asked me last month if we could just migrate everything to the cloud, and seemed genuinely confused when I explained that our COBOL mainframe had about 200 custom SAP integrations that couldn't just be copy-pasted to Amazon Web Services. The thing about guys like Justin is they're not stupid exactly. They're just dangerous. Smart enough to use the right buzzwords, connected enough to avoid consequences, but clueless enough to break things they don't understand. In the Navy, we had words for officers like that. Most aren't appropriate for polite company. Justin had been making changes since he arrived 7 months ago. Big changes. He brought in a digital transformation consultant named Jessica, who charged $400 an hour to tell us we needed to leverage synergies and optimize our tech stack. She spent 2 weeks interviewing everyone, taking notes on her iPad, and producing a 52-page PowerPoint deck that could basically be summarized as "fire the old guys and hire cheaper people." The writing was on the wall, but I figured I had time. Companies don't usually get rid of the guy who fixes their problems at 3 a.m. I'd been running Guardian, my comprehensive AI-powered monitoring and auto-repair suite, in the background for 3 years now. It prevented hundreds of outages, caught security intrusions before they became breaches, and saved the company millions in downtime costs. Justin's team had no idea it existed. I was wrong about having time. Over the next month, Justin started implementing his optimization strategy. First to go was Andy Rodriguez, our database administrator who'd been with the company for 12 years. Andy was 45, knew our systems inside and out, and had the annoying habit of asking Justin to explain his technical decisions in detail. "We're transitioning to a more agile cloud-native approach," Justin told him during the termination meeting. "Your skill set is more aligned with legacy infrastructure." Legacy infrastructure. That was Justin speak for old and expensive. Andy had built most of our database architecture from scratch, optimized it through 3 major upgrades, and could troubleshoot problems that would take a team of consultants weeks to figure out. But he was also making $89K a year with full benefits, and Justin could hire 2 fresh graduates for that price. Neil Patterson went next. Neil was our infrastructure director, 53 years old, with a telecommunications background, going back to when network cables were actually thick yellow things you could trip over. He'd seen every type of system failure imaginable and had the institutional knowledge that you can't learn from YouTube tutorials. "Nothing personal, Neil," Justin said during his termination meeting. "We're just pivoting to a more dynamic workforce model." Dynamic workforce model. Translation: young, cheap, and replaceable. The pattern was obvious to anyone paying attention. Anyone over 45 was getting called into HR for strategic discussions about their career trajectory. Justin had started scheduling what he called energy assessment meetings with senior staff, asking questions about adaptability to fast-paced environments and comfort with disruptive technologies. Meanwhile, Justin was hiring his transformation team, fresh-faced kids with computer science degrees and exactly 0 real-world experience. They had impressive resumes full of internships at startups, certifications in the latest frameworks, and GitHub profiles full of sample projects that looked good on paper, but had never been tested under actual load. The team lead was a 24-year-old named Casey, who'd worked at 3 different companies in the past 2 years. great at buzzword bingo, terrible at understanding why our 20-year-old ERP system couldn't just be replaced with whatever framework was trending on GitHub this month. Why don't we just containerize everything and move it to Kubernetes? Casey asked during one particularly painful architecture meeting. Because, I explained for the third time, our main application was written in COBOL and interfaces with 47 different vendor systems, most of which don't have APIs. Can't we just write APIs for them? I looked at Justin, who was nodding like this was brilliant strategic thinking. Sure, that would only take about 3 years and cost roughly $4 million. Or, Justin jumped in, we could partner with a development firm in Bangalore that specializes in legacy migration. I've got quotes starting at $500K. This was Justin's solution to everything. Find someone cheaper to do it overseas. He'd already outsourced our help desk to a call center in the Philippines and was negotiating with a firm in Bangladesh to take over network monitoring. The fact that these people would be working in different time zones with limited English skills and zero knowledge of our specific systems didn't seem to concern him. Gary, I know change is hard for people with traditional thinking, he said after the meeting, but we can't let outdated approaches hold back innovation. Traditional thinking. I was born in 1976, which made me Generation X, but I didn't bother correcting him. Guys like Justin don't listen to corrections anyway. They just wait for you to stop talking so they can continue being brilliant. The breaking point came in late October. I was in the server room doing routine maintenance on the backup systems when I overheard Justin on a phone call in the adjacent conference room. The walls were thin, and he wasn't exactly whispering. No, I understand the timeline pressure, he was saying. But we can't move forward with the legacy team still in place. They're actively resisting the transition. Actively resisting. I was actively keeping the company running while he played corporate politics, but apparently that counted as resistance in his world. The old guard has too much institutional knowledge. They make themselves indispensable and then use that as leverage to resist change. We need a clean slate. Clean slate. That was a new one, even for Justin's collection of management buzzwords. Right, I'll handle Gary Sullivan last. He's the biggest problem, knows where all the bodies are buried, if you know what I mean. But once we get the offshore team fully trained on his systems, we won't need him anymore. I finished my maintenance work and walked back to my desk like nothing had happened. But something fundamental had changed. For 16 years, I'd been loyal to this company, worked weekends, handled emergencies, fixed problems that weren't technically my responsibility because it was the right thing to do. I'd turned down 3 job offers from defense contractors over the years because I believed in stability and commitment. That night, I went home to my place in Marietta and opened a beer. My ex-wife Carol had gotten the house in the divorce 6 years ago, but we'd stayed on good terms. She understood the demands of the job, just couldn't live with them taking over our entire lives anymore. The apartment was easier to maintain anyway, and it was closer to Danny's college. I called my son Danny, who was a junior at Georgia Tech studying cybersecurity. Smart kid, probably smarter than me. He'd inherited my analytical mind but had better people skills and wasn't carrying around the emotional baggage of 2 decades in corporate IT. Dad, you sound weird. What's wrong? Just work stuff. How's school? Don't change the subject. What happened? Danny had always been able to read me like an open book. Even as a little kid, he could tell when something was bothering me before I'd admit it to myself. They're planning to fire me, I said finally. The idiots who hired the guy who thinks databases are just fancy spreadsheets? I'd told him about Justin during one of our monthly dinners at the Varsity downtown. Danny had listened to my stories about his latest brilliant ideas and declared him aggressively incompetent. That's the one. Good. You should quit before they get the chance. How long have I been telling you to take that job with Titan Defense? Titan Defense Systems had been trying to recruit me for 2 years straight. They handled cybersecurity for Pentagon contractors and naval installations. The work was more interesting, the pay was significantly better, and they actually valued experience over youth. Critical infrastructure protection, the kind of work where failure meant more than just angry customer emails. It's not that simple, Danny. I've got 16 years invested here. My retirement plan, my health insurance, my reputation in the industry. Dad, you've got 16 years of experience. That's an asset, not a chain. And your reputation? Everyone in Atlanta IT knows you're the guy who keeps things running. That reputation follows you wherever you go. He was right, but it still felt like abandoning ship, even if the ship was being piloted by someone who thought icebergs were just frozen opportunities for innovation. The next morning, I got the calendar invite I'd been expecting. Subject line, quick sync, HR. No agenda, no context, just a meeting scheduled for 4:30 p.m. on a Friday, the corporate equivalent of a last meal. Friday afternoon arrived like a slow-motion execution. I spent the morning doing what I'd always done, monitoring systems, reviewing logs, fixing small problems before they became big ones. Around lunch, I got a text from Andy Rodriguez, who'd been laid off 3 weeks earlier. Heard through the grapevine you're next on the chopping block. Sorry, man. Word travels fast in the Atlanta IT community, especially when a company starts hemorrhaging experienced people for no apparent reason other than their birth year. At 4:25 p.m., I walked into conference room B. Justin was there, perched on the edge of the table like he was doing a photo shoot for Entrepreneur magazine. Next to him sat Patricia Coleman from HR, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else on the planet. "Gary, thanks for coming," Justin said, crossing one leg over the other like he'd learned the gesture from a TED Talk about power poses. "This won't take long." Patricia slid a manila folder across the table like it might bite her. The tab read, "Confidential Employment Termination." "As part of our legacy team optimization initiative," Justin began, "we're restructuring certain senior roles to better align with our future-focused vision. Legacy Team Optimization Initiative." I had to give him credit for creativity. Most companies just called it downsizing or right-sizing or whatever euphemism was popular that quarter. "We really appreciate your years of dedication," he continued, pausing like he was trying to remember what it was I actually did all day. "But we're moving in a new direction, more agile, more collaborative, more contemporary. Contemporary." There was the age discrimination wrapped up in corporate speak. I opened the folder and scanned the severance agreement. 3-month salary continuation, COBRA coverage for 6 months, standard non-disclosure, and non-compete clauses. The legal language was dense, but I'd learned to read contracts during my Navy days when I was responsible for vendor agreements on base IT systems. What caught my attention was Section 7, Intellectual Property and Proprietary Systems. It stated that all company systems and processes would remain property of the company upon employee departure. Standard language that most people never read carefully, except for one problem. They'd never bothered to update my original employment contract from 2008. Back then, TechFlow was smaller and desperate for experienced people. The legal department had insisted on a clause that granted me ownership of any original code or systems developed outside normal work parameters, using personal time and resources. They wanted to avoid paying overtime when I worked nights and weekends. Over the years, I'd written dozens of custom scripts and monitoring tools, database optimization routines that ran every night to prevent corruption, network monitoring agents that caught intrusion attempts before they became breaches, automated failover procedures that kept systems running during hardware failures, all developed on my own time, using my own equipment, because I was tired of being called at 3 a.m. to fix problems that could be prevented with proper monitoring. The crown jewel was Guardian. Guardian was my comprehensive AI-powered monitoring and auto-repair suite. It had been running quietly in the background for 3 years, preventing hundreds of outages and saving the company millions in downtime costs. The system monitored everything from CPU temperature to network traffic patterns, automatically routing around failed components and triggering health checks when services became unresponsive. Justin's team had no idea it existed. "Any questions?" Justin asked, flashing that smile he probably practiced in the mirror. I looked at him for a long moment, then at Patricia, who was studying her hands like they contained the secrets of the universe. "Just one. How long do I have to transfer my proprietary systems?" He blinked. "Your what?" I stood up, unplugged my security badge from its lanyard, and placed it on the table like a chess piece claiming checkmate. "My intellectual property. The monitoring systems, auto-repair scripts, database optimization routines. They're mine, not the company's. I'll need to properly transfer ownership before my access is revoked." Patricia's face went pale. She was probably the only person in the room who understood the legal implications of what I just said. "What systems?" Justin asked, his confident expression starting to crack. "The ones keeping your servers from catching fire," I said. "But don't worry. I'm sure your offshore team has everything under control. I signed the termination papers, shook Patricia's hand, and walked out without another word. The elevator ride down felt like descending from a burning building. 16 years of my life in that place, and it ended with a 15-minute meeting and a handshake from someone who didn't know a database from a doorknob. I drove to Waffle House on Ponce and ordered coffee and pecan pie. Then I opened my laptop and logged into the system for the last time. Guardian was distributed across 35 servers, monitoring everything from CPU temperature to network traffic patterns. Removing it required careful coordination to avoid triggering immediate alerts. One by one, I transferred ownership of each component from the company repository to my personal servers. The process took 38 minutes and was completely legal according to my original employment contract. The database optimization scripts took another 20 minutes. These ran every night at 2 a.m., cleaning up corrupted transactions and preventing the cascade failures that had plagued the company before I'd written them. Finally, I revoked the automated failover, procedures that had been quietly routing traffic around failed systems for the past 3 years. Without these, a single server failure could bring down entire departments. When I finished, I closed the laptop and ordered another piece of pie. Then I called Titan Defense Systems. "Mr. Sullivan, what a pleasant surprise," said Patricia Martinez, their CTO. "I was just thinking about you. We have a new contract starting Monday, network security audit for a naval logistics facility in Norfolk, Pentagon clearance requirements, critical infrastructure protection. Interested? What's the pay? $125K base plus security clearance differential, full benefits, 4 weeks vacation, and a team that actually knows what they're doing." I thought about Justin's comment about traditional thinking and smiled. "When do I start? How about Monday morning? We'll handle all the paperwork. You've got a deal." I hung up and sat back in the booth, watching traffic pass by on Ponce de Leon. For the first time in months, I felt something I'd almost forgotten. Anticipation instead of dread about going to work. My phone was quiet for exactly 52 minutes. Then it started buzzing. Over the next 18 hours, the automated systems I'd built began their slow decline. Without Guardian monitoring CPU temperatures and memory usage, small performance issues went undetected. Database optimization scripts that normally ran at 2 a.m. simply didn't execute, leaving corrupted transactions to pile up like digital garbage. Automated failover procedures that had been silently routing traffic around problematic servers stopped functioning. First text was from Casey, the young team lead. "Hey Gary, weird question. Database response times seem really slow today." Then Patricia from HR. "Gary, quick question about some technical documentation you might have." Then Justin himself. "Gary, hope you're well. Could you give me a call when you get a chance?" I turned the phone face down and finished my pie. Monday morning brought 31 missed calls and 54 text messages. I ignored them all and drove to my first day at Titan Defense. Their office in Norcross was nothing like TechFlow. Clean, modern, but with a serious atmosphere that reminded me of military installations. No open concept nonsense or ping pong tables. Just professionals who understood that national security wasn't a game. Patricia Martinez met me in the lobby at 7:30 a.m. sharp. Mid-40s, former Navy commander, with the kind of competence that didn't need to advertise itself. "Welcome aboard, Gary. Ready to do some real work?" Around 10 a.m., my personal phone started ringing. Justin's number. I let it go to voicemail. "Gary, it's Justin. Look, some systems seem to be having issues and the offshore team is still getting up to speed. Could you give me a call? Nothing urgent. Just want to pick your brain about a few things. Nothing urgent." By noon, I had 4 more voicemails from Justin, 3 from Patricia, and 1 from CEO Richard Thornfield himself. 2 weeks later, I saw the headline in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, TechFlow Solutions. Acquired by Hartwell Capital in distressed sale. The purchase price was $22 million, about 25% of the company's $85 million valuation from 6 months earlier. The new management team included Andy as CTO and Neil as Director of Infrastructure. Justin was notably absent from the organizational chart. Word through industry contacts was he'd started a consulting firm focused on digital transformation strategies, though his LinkedIn endorsements had dropped significantly. These days, I work on systems that actually matter. Naval communications networks, cybersecurity for defense contractors, infrastructure that keeps the country running. My colleagues respect experience instead of fearing it. When I speak in meetings, people take notes. Danny's graduating next spring with a cybersecurity degree and already has an internship lined up at Titan. Not because of me, but because he earned it. Sometimes I drive past the old TechFlow building during lunch. There's a for lease sign in the window now. The best revenge isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just letting people face the natural consequences of their decisions while you build something better somewhere else. Experience isn't a liability, it's an asset.